A Voyage East knit-along has come to an end. It has been an exciting year, featuring a new motif and video every month. In this last video, Deborah Newton and I share our journey in creating this knit-along Afghan to celebrate the last 10 years of Noro magazine. Welcome everyone to our last video for the Noro A Voyage East knit-along. And for this video, I've asked Deborah Newton to join us. And I am Carla Scott, and I've been working with Deborah on the Afghan from beginning to end, and I have been producing all the videos for her wonderful squares. So welcome, Deborah.
Thank you, Carla, for having me. It was a
Yes.
pleasure to work on this project.
Yeah, so I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and you can let our audience know a little bit more about this knit-along. So when you were first asked to design this knit-along, what was your first reaction?
I was a little daunted, to tell you the truth. You know, it's a big project, and I didn't know whether to approach it as a single image or multiple images. But I started looking at some iconic pictures of Japan and Japanese culture, and I got excited by there are so many images that kind of represent Japan or aspects of culture, and I thought it'd be fun to make them into little intarsia images.
Right. So on that point, there are so many images you could choose from. How did you decide which ones you wanted to put into this Afghan? Because you only had 10 squares.
Right. It was hard because there were some that were too complicated, some that maybe were too much pop culture, like the little cat that waves its hand. I didn't think it would translate as well. There was some face masks from theater that I thought would be fun, but somehow they didn't translate as well. I tried to keep things as simple as possible because I found with intarsia that works best. As soon as you start to get complicated, things don't always translate so well.
Right. And I like the combination of what you chose. You have some
Thank you.
scenery, some buildings, lots of very interesting motifs that I think all really went well together.
Thank you. It was fun to kind of try to capture them.
Yes. Can you talk a little bit about your process going from the idea to the colors to the charts and then to the
Well,
knitted squares?
yeah, well, you know, I knew I had a palette of colors to work with the Noro Silk Garden. And I usually draw on knitter's graph paper, which has a proportion of stockinette, 5 stitches to 7 rows, and it translates the image into its appropriate shape and size.
Right.
But recently I've been working with Stitch Fiddle Online, which is an online site for drawing on grids of all kinds. And I kind of use my mouse to just create the outlines of the shapes, and then I fill them in with the colors because you can choose a palette of colors. And so for the first time, I did a whole project on digitally rather than on paper. Although I do love working on paper too, because there's something about the way the image goes from your brain into your hand onto the paper. But
Right.
it was fun. It was fun using Stitch Fiddle.
Great, great. Yes, I know a lot of people use it, and it's a fun. I have to try it out. I haven't tried it out yet. Talking about colors, so Noro has so many beautiful colors, especially in Silk Garden and all their Silk Garden solos. So how did you come up with the actual colors that you chose?
Well, it was hard, Carla, because as you know, we talked about this. We wanted to limit it to like 20 colors, but and then there are colors within the colors in the multicolor ball. So that's kind of attracted me because we could get some extra colors by using some of the multicolor balls. But I did want to choose a red. I felt a red was very important because it kind of shows up in a lot of Japanese things, and it also provides as a designer, it provides a pop of color in any project. So you notice I did use red throughout, and
Right.
so that was one of the most important colors. I forget what number it is.
Right. I think it's Otaru, I think is the name of it, but it's one of their most popular colors at
But you know,
Noro.
Carla, speaking of color, and the people, the knitters in the knit along group on Facebook really prove this to be true. Most of the silk garden colors work really well together. So you could choose a different background color, and many people did, or they chose a different color for the main motif. And it was fascinating to see how the colors in silk garden work no matter what colors you have juxtaposed next to each other.
Right. So talk on to that point, and I'm just curious, did you take apart the silk garden colors so that you could find which color you wanted to
Yeah,
work with?
especially like say in the blossoms, the
Mhm.
on the branch, I
Yes.
wanted different shades of pink, so
Right.
I went in and I broke off, and I think the members of the group probably did this too. I broke off lengths of pink and different shades of pink so that I could have some variety rather than just one shade.
Yes, that's the uniqueness of the Noro yarns, and it really
Yes.
makes designing a lot of fun. So this is a difficult question. What was your favorite square? I know which one was my favorite square, but what was your favorite square?
Oh, it was hard to pick because, you know, I love the teapot. I don't know why, the little cups and the
I love that one
teapot.
too.
There was a certain domestic simplicity about that, but I love the crane too. I enjoyed designing the crane. And then
Beautiful. Yeah.
also the gate that which is such an iconic architectural element of Japanese life that it had a certain solemnity to it that I liked, the you know the vertical line, the horizontal line. So it's hard for me to pick, but those three were special.
Yes. Well, my favorite were the waves. I
Oh
really
yeah,
enjoyed doing that, and I enjoyed doing that video because I could do the color work with two hands,
right.
which is always so much fun. And it was also great that you used so many different techniques, which allowed me to make some videos on all kinds of different ways of working with color. And
Mhm.
I had a lot of fun doing those videos
Oh,
as
that's
well. So,
great. I'm
and
hoping that the members of the knit along acquired a lot of skills during the course of this project too, because I know it used stranded color work for the waves, and also there was strict intarsia for some of the like the temple. Some of them combined both stranded color work and intarsia, so it's a great way to test your skills and add to your bag of tricks in terms of knitting techniques.
right, and also you did a little duplicate stitch in for
Yeah,
small areas like that.
right,
And I
right.
think the knit along group was so much fun on Facebook, and I loved also that people tried
Fantastic.
different colors and even chose designed their own motifs, which I think it was you inspired them to do that, and I think
Well,
that's
it was
wonderful.
so inspiring to me to see other people go ahead and try new shapes and images and use colors in different ways. It goes to show what I always say is that knitters are very creative people.
Yes, they are. Yes. Well, thank you so much for designing this with us and showing us some great, beautiful designs. And we'd love the finished Afghan is just gorgeous. And
Thank you, Carla. It was a pleasure and lots of fun for me as a visual artist to try to, you know, come up with some stuff and also see what other people did as well. So thank you so much.
thank you. And maybe we'll do another one in the future.
Okay, sounds great.
Keep your ideas coming.
Thank you
Okay.
so
Thank
much.
you, Deborah.
Hey, bye-bye.
A big thank you to Deborah Newton, Rosemary Drysdale, and all at Knitting Fever who made this Noro project a huge success.